Hello, my name is Tommy, and today we're learning about stoichiometry. So for this one, we have to see in a closed container if the following reaction is allowed to occur with 28.0 grams C2H4 and 48 grams O2. First of all, which reactant is limiting, then what amount of H2O is theoretically produced, what would leave a greater effect on the reaction, doubling O2 or C2H4, and what the percent yield is. So, first, let's do some stoichiometry to figure out which reactant is limiting. So the way we can do that is we convert 28 grams, first of all, 0, of C2H4 into moles. So the molar mass of C2H4 is 28 grams per mole. So we're going to use the inverse of its molar mass so that grams can cancel out, and we get 1 mole C2H4. And then we do the same for oxygen, where 48.0 grams O2 times the molar mass of O2, which is 32 grams per mole. So 1 mole per 32 grams equals, or this should have been 1.00 since we have 3 sig figs. And this should be 28.0 grams. Sorry about that. You should both be. So this is going to come out to be 1.50 mole O2. So then from there, what we can do is we can convert to a product, and whichever makes less of the product is our limiting reactant. So we do 1.00 mole C2H4 times the mole ratio of C2H4 to H2O, which will be 2 H2O per 1 C2H4. C2H4 will cancel, and we get 2.00 mole H2O. Then we do the same thing for O2, where we have 1.50 mole O2 times 2 mole H2O over 3 mole O2, and that gives us 1.0 mole H2O. So as you can see, our limiting reactant is O2. And not only that, but we got our maximum amount of H2 that we can possibly produce from that calculation as well. So our limiting is O2, and our maximum output is 1.00 mole H2O, since it's larger than the amount that the total C2H4 can make. So now, which would have a greater effect? Doubling O2 or C2H4? So if we double C2H4, it's going to do absolutely nothing. Why? Because all you're doing is going to increase this number. And this number wouldn't make sense to increase because this is lower. So this is going to be the actual amount that we're going to produce. Increasing the amount of C2H4 is not going to increase the amount of reactions happening because O2 is limiting. O2 is going to stop that from happening anyway. But if we double O2, we double this number, and we would have 2 moles of H2O. So doubling O2 will have the greater amount on, or the greater effect on increasing the reaction. So now, D. If 17.5 grams of H2O, what is the percent yield? So what we can do is we can calculate for molar mass the amount of grams 1 mole of H2O has. So 1 mole times 18 grams over 1 mole, or per mole H2O, gives us 18 grams. So now all that's left to do is divide 17.5 grams by 18.0 grams, which is our max yield. That's the maximum theoretical amount we can get, and multiply that by 100%, and we have our percent yield. So 17.5 over 18 times 100%, and that gives us 97.2%.